All right, let's talk about the one concept, the big one, that's at the heart of every single investment decision you will ever make. It's like this invisible force that shapes your entire financial future. I'm sure you've seen it, right? You've seen the ads, you've heard the promises, the chance to make an absolute fortune guaranteed with no downside whatsoever. It sounds, well, almost magical, doesn't it? Yeah, because it is. Look, in the world of finance, that kind of promise isn't just a red flag. It's a giant flashing neon sign telling you to run. It's a trap, plain and simple. It just doesn't exist.
So let's just get real for a second. When it comes to your money, you're pretty much always forced to make a choice. Are you swinging for the fences, trying to get those huge returns? Or are you trying to keep what you have safe and sound? Because here's the thing. In investing, you really can't have it all.
And this tension right here, this constant push and pull between growing your money and protecting it, that's what we call the great investor's dilemma. It's something every single one of us has to figure out. And truly getting a handle on this dilemma, well, that is literally the difference between being a smart, strategic investor and just being someone who's kind of guessing and hoping for the best. To solve this, we first have to understand the one unbreakable rule of investing. It's all built on two huge, powerful, and kind of opposing ideas: risk and return. So, first up, let's talk about risk. And it's not just some scary word people throw around. No, it's the real, calculated possibility that things just won't go the way you planned, that you could actually lose some, or maybe even all of the money you put in. And listen, risk isn't just one thing. It comes in a few different flavors. You've got market risk. That's when the whole stock market decides to take a nosedive. There's credit risk. What if a company you lent money to goes bankrupt and just can't pay you back? And then there's something called liquidity risk. That's when you need to sell something, like a house, but you can't find a buyer when you need the cash. Okay, now for the fun part. The other side of that coin, return. This is the good stuff. This is the reward you get for taking on all that risk. It's the profit, the growth. I mean, it's the whole reason we invest in the first place, right? To make our money work for us. So how are these two connected? Well, this is where we get to that unbreakable rule I was talking about. It's called the risk-return trade-off. And honestly, it is brutally simple. If you want the chance for a higher return, you must accept higher risk. And if you want safety, you've got to be okay with lower potential returns. They are basically joined at the hip. Okay, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like in the real world? You know, when your actual money is on the line? Let's look at a classic example, a fixed deposit versus stocks. With a fixed deposit, your risk is super, super low. But so is your return. You're maybe looking at 5 or 6%. Now with stocks, the risk is way higher. Prices can swing all over the place. But the potential for that long-term return is also so much greater, maybe 10 to 15%. See, that's the trade-off in action. And this right here highlights the single biggest mistake people make. They get totally hypnotized by the promise of big gains, and they develop this massive blind spot for the very real risks that are always attached. They just chase the reward and completely ignore the danger. But risk can be tricky. It can hide in plain sight. Let's imagine you earn an 8% return on an investment this year. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? You made money. But hold on a second. There's this silent thief at work called inflation. If the average cost of everything, your food, your gas, your housing, went up by 6% that same year, well, your 8% gain isn't exactly what it seems. Your real return, the actual increase in your buying power, is just 2%. You're ahead, sure, but just barely. This is why understanding your real return after inflation is one of the most important parts of being a smart investor. So if risk is everywhere, some obvious and some hidden, what are we supposed to do about it? You don't just have to give up. Smart investors have a clear playbook they use to control their risk. It really boils down to 3 core strategies. First is diversification. You know the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's all this is. Second is asset allocation. This is where you consciously decide on a mix of high-risk and low-risk stuff that fits your personal goals. And third is reviewing and rebalancing, which just means you got to check in every now and then to make sure your strategy is still on track. For example, a younger investor has decades to recover if the market takes a hit, so they can afford to take on more risk for more potential growth. Their portfolio might be heavily tilted towards stocks, maybe 80%, to really maximize those long-term gains. But now, contrast that with someone who's getting close to retirement. Their priority is completely different. It's all about protecting what they've already built. So they're going to take on far less risk with a portfolio that leans more towards stable things like bonds. It's all about matching the risk to your stage in life. Ultimately, all of this comes down to one simple, really powerful idea. Investing isn't about eliminating risk. It's about finding your personal, sustainable balance. And this is the single most important thing to take away. The goal isn't to find some mythical zero-risk investment. That's a total fantasy. A smart investor's goal is to understand the risks they're taking and then to manage them intelligently. Because think about it. If you avoid risk entirely, you also avoid any chance for meaningful growth. Your money will just sit there, getting slowly eaten away by inflation. But if you take on way too much risk, you could get wiped out. The path to success is finding that balance right there in the middle. So I'll leave you with this question to really think about. Where do you land on that spectrum? Are you naturally a safe player, or are you comfortable being more of a risk taker? Knowing yourself is the absolute first and most important step to building the right strategy for you. And once you know what kind of investor you are, the next step is choosing the right tools for the job. So in our next explainer, we're going to break down all the major types of investments, from stocks to bonds to real estate, to help you get started. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it.